Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Arcanist PvP, and welcome to the Sorcerer PvP guide for version 1.3.4. Guys, don't get too excited. This guide isn't very different from my last one. There haven't been a lot of changes from 1.2 from the last guide to 1.3. There are a couple of abilities that I have changed that I'm going to go over with now, a couple of pieces of gear that I've switched out. Everything else is pretty much the same. Sorcerer, High Elf, Light Armor, health points. You can always revert back to those previous guides if you need explanations on any of the passes, anything of that nature. First off, the first ability that I have changed is from Degeneration to Structured Entropy in the Mage's Guild. I have gone to Structured Entropy to get the passive max health increase. When you level it up completely, it increases your maximum health by 8%. Well, when you switch to your from your main bar, which is where this is, to my healing bar, it does remove that 8% maximum health off the top. Don't be afraid. If you do switch bars and you're low health, it will not remove that health from your health pool. It does take it right off the top. So if you're wondering why you have more health on one bar and then less health on the other, that is why. The rest of the stuff is the same on the first bar: Endless Fury, Crystal Fragment, Streak, and Velocious Curse. ZeniMax did sneak in a small nerf to Velocious Curse by increasing the time it takes for the curse to explode by 0.5 seconds from 3 to 3.5. Thanks for telling us about that, Zenny. As far as the ultimate on the first bar, I'm still using Soul Assault. You guys have noticed that I did use Overload quite often in my past couple videos. Overload, it's kind of a gimmick. It is pretty effective damage-wise if you get somebody that doesn't really know how to counter it. If you run into somebody who knows how to counter it, it is very easily countered. A DK, all he has to do is reflect, and he just reflects all the light attacks back onto you, which is the only potent part of Overload right now. My Overload is hitting for about 800 regular light attacks, critting for like 1100. So I mean, if you get somebody caught off guard with it, it is really effective. The other negative part about Overload is you can get stuck in that Overload bar, and if you start to get trained, trying to get out of the Overload bar into your healing bar can sometimes be detrimental, and you could end up dying. So I do feel Soul Assault is still the best ultimate in the game. Healing bar has stayed effectively the same. Healing Ward, Rapid Regeneration, Harness Magicka, Hardened Ward. The last ability here is the only one that has changed because Immovable, I believe, is busted right now. I still find myself getting CC'd quite often when I have Immovable up. Very frustrating. Still getting CC'd when you have the CC immunity swirls around your feet. I'm hoping that ZeniMax fixes this as soon as possible, as it is probably the most frustrating part about PvP you can have. If you can't play your character, I mean, what's the point? So Storm Atronach is also on my second healing ultimate, and I also use the negate here as well. As you know, I'll switch those out interchangeably depending on who's in my group. You always want to have at least one negate in your group. Negate coupled with the Storm Atronach is very effective. Okay, the ability that I switched out for Immovable, Critical Surge, is awesome. It's a great ability. I really wish I could have this all the time. I use it mainly because it increases the rapid regeneration, and Healing Ward heals immensely. Critical Surge increases the weapon damage, and all heals, your resto staff is based off your weapon damage. So that is how that works in that aspect. There's a couple abilities that I will switch out for Critical Surge as well. I will use Boundless Storm. Is actually a really good ability to put right there as well. It really increases your defenses and your kiting ability, increasing your movement speed. You can also use Bound Armaments, this one here, which also increases that heavy attack damage. It does reduce your max magicka a little bit, so you really have to make sure that you have a large magicka pool to be able to use this. But if you switch to your healing bar, pop the Bound Armaments, really increases that armor, and then you can start healing yourself to try to survive. I don't use it as often as I use the other abilities, but it is viable. You can also use the mines as well, the Daedric Minefield in that position. Really your preference, but since Immovable is kind of broken right now, this one is debatable, and like I said, to your preference. So that is basically it, guys. Like I said, it's going to be a real quick video. Not much has changed regarding the builds. Now, to go over gear sets, enchants, and traits, and all that good stuff, as you have noticed since my last PvP guide, I have hit Veteran 12. Finally, thank God. That took forever. But so for the armor sets for 1.3, what I'm using now is a 5-piece Warlock, head, shoulders, and jewelry. And I'm also using a 5-piece Gift of Magnus, chest, legs, hands, waist, and feet. Now you may ask yourself, why aren't you using something that uses all the pieces, since my weapon is not included in my armor sets. I actually discussed this with Face Melter, and we both came to the conclusion that the 5-piece bonus set of Magnus is far better than any other two-piece trait that you could trade it out for. You know, you go the 5-piece Warlock, 4-piece Magnus, and then have a 2-piece trait. But the 5-piece bonus on Magnus it's beat out any 2-piece trait that we could figure out. So the reason I'm using Gift of Magnus over Seducer, I actually get this question a lot, is that the Gift of Magnus does have the spell damage in the bonus effects of the armor. The Seducer does not give you the extra spell damage. With the Magnus and all my other stuff, I am soft capped with spell damage, and I am also soft capped with Magicka. Is when I have my food buff. Excuse me. So enchants and traits, I am doing the 5 impenetrable because that's all I can do. You cannot change the traits on the head and shoulders of the Warlock sets, unfortunately, or I would be going 7-piece impenetrable. As far as the enchants, I am still rocking white enchants. I haven't got up to 40 in enchanting yet, so I am planning on going Magicka enchants on my gear until soft cap. Before the food buff, and then with the rest of it I am going to allocate it to health or stamina. I do want to try to put a couple enchants into stamina, just because of the amount of CC that's in the game right now. That CC break is detrimental to your play. You really have to be able to get out of that CC. Spell damage enchants on all your jewelry. That is how you get up to that soft cap with the Magnus gear on the spell damage. And the weapon enchant, it's really your preference. I prefer the Magicka recovery, where it does, I think it does Magicka damage and then recovers Magicka for every attack. But it's really up to you. The reducing the armor enchant is also very effective. Shock damage as well to get those extra disintegration procs. So that will give you a couple options, guys, to play with here in 1.3. I believe 1.4 is going to bring about quite a few changes in regards to light armor. So the 1.4 Sorcerer PvP guide will probably be quite a bit different. I'm going to have to do quite a bit of playing around with the new armor traits and that type of stuff. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you everyone that has subscribed. If you haven't seen the previous videos, I do have a live Twitch channel now. You can visit me at twitch.tv/ArcanistPvP. Come by, say hello. We have a blast over there. Lots of awesome PvP, and got a couple of buddies that hang out with me regularly. So it's a great time. Come on over and say hi. You can also follow me on Twitter now at twitter.com/ArcanistPvP. You can get notified whenever I go live on stream from there as well. Thank you everyone that has subscribed and shown me support. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you next time.